It's always fun. I always learn something really great when I get to talk to this guy right here, Bruce Porter. Good to see you as always,
Good
Bruce.
to see you.
Okay, this is something I think a lot of people find themselves. This is a dilemma. You want to go on vacation.
Yeah.
You got to do it, and then you realize, I didn't plan for this.
No, I know.
Yeah, any advice on how I can still get to go on vacation, maybe?
Well, when the thought hits you in the middle of the night and you roll over to wife and go, hey, let's go somewhere this weekend.
Yeah.
That can be expensive because you
Yeah.
haven't planned.
I know.
Right? So, when we consider, the first thing you got to think about when you're considering, hey, we want to go somewhere, is can we afford to go somewhere?
Of course.
Because at the last minute, you're going to spend more money than you would if you would plan your vacation. So if you're going to plan the weekend away, take a few weeks ahead of time, do a little bit of research, find out what you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to go hiking, but you're going to stay overnight, you might consider finding a campsite, buying a tent, and having some fun doing that. Might be cheaper than getting a hotel. So, when you plan to spend money. You don't just go and just whatever it takes. We stay in a hotel, we go here, there, and the other.
Yeah, most of us can't do that.
That's right. We eat out, and before you know it, we're on vacation. It's like, I'll just stick it on the credit card. That's what happens when we don't plan a vacation and we go without paying for it first, without budgeting. Here's how much per day we're going to be allowed to spend, etc. So
that bill comes due.
When you don't plan is when you spend more money. So, if you're going to go somewhere and you want to plan ahead, you can research. Are we going to stay in a hotel? Are we going to stay in like an Airbnb, or what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Where are we going to sleep? And then let's plan our meals. Let's plan, okay, we'll do this. We'll swing by a grocery store and get snacks, so we're not going out for every little thing. And just plan 1 or 2 meals a day outside.
It sounds like sometimes you have to do what you have to do to be able to do what you want to do. In other words, you don't have to stay at a top flight motel. Do a little research. You can save money depending on where you stay, and it can still be a hotel.
That's right. I mean, if you're going to go in peak season, whatever that may be, around a holiday, you're going to spend more money. Air travel's higher, hotels are high, everything is higher around a holiday. So maybe you find an off season and you go to the same destination, but it doesn't cost as much money.
Right.
My son went to St. Louis last weekend, and they planned their weekend. They bought tickets ahead of time for a couple of things they wanted to do. They used coupons and they got discounts, but they still spent more money than they thought they were going to because it was hot. They didn't stay as long at the zoo. They ended up going out to eat because it was just nothing else to do. And so, again, planning ahead of time, looking at different parks and museums and things that are free are out there. And you can still have a nice little weekend trip or even a planned vacation around those things and not spend as much as you think.
Well, true. I mean, I know personally, sometimes it's just as nice to sit at the bottom and look at the mountain as try to go up to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, you can plan some really memorable times with your family without breaking the bank. You just have to do a little research on what's free, what's offered that us taxpayers pay for that you might as well take advantage of. And so when you spend a little bit of time putting together a plan for your trip, you're going to spend less money because you're going to be mindful. The problem people do is they go on vacation, they come back, they go back to work, and they get that first credit card bill 30 days later.
That mountain is going to be there 2 months from now. I don't have to necessarily do it now.
Yeah. Don't go on July 4th and go hiking up that mountain when you could, wait and go in not so busy of a time when
crazy.
rates and prices and everything is higher. So I think that's just mindful that, you know, you just spend a little time doing research and figuring out what you want to do, so you're not just randomly driving around aimlessly trying to find something to do, because that gets expensive.
All right, well, for good advice like this, and maybe if you get into one of those holes, maybe advice on how to dig yourself out, how do they get in touch with you, Bruce?
Simple solutions in a complex world at the Resource Center, 882-1800. We'll be glad to help.
Always
Good to see you.
see you.
You bet.
Give them a call.